Alyssa Naeher, the more complete goalkeeper, um, great with her feet, those double saves that she's made. I'm giving the edge to Alyssa Naeher, and I would say that she's the best keeper that the U.S. program has ever had.
Dream matchups. Now, the theme of dream matchups today is past versus present. So it's a brand new segment, and we have each picked someone from the past, a team, a player, anyone, a historical face-off against someone in the present. And then we get to debate who would win. We get to poke holes in each other's theories. So it can be a one-on-one, a team versus team, a year versus year, anything really. There are no rules here, Sandra. There are absolutely
Do what we
no
want.
rules here. I am so excited to hear your matchups, guys, because this one was really fun for me to pick from. Sandra, I want to hear you first. Who is your dream matchup?
Oh, I love this. I'm so excited for this segment, and I hope everyone has some fun with it and enjoys it. When our producer Mark threw this at us, I love that it was a bit open-ended. It could be like a number of things. But I went classic. I went a team versus a team. And for me, if I could see it, because I would love to see it, I thought we're in an area of NWSL where we're celebrating, it's 12th year. We're going to be celebrating its 13th year next year. Longevity, right? Consistency. And I'm like, this is the fun part of this is that we get to go back in time and maybe do these matchups. And when we were doing our road to Kansas City, Lisa, we got to recap a lot of incredible past championship teams. And I thought about this year and all of the incredible stuff that we got to see over the course of 2024. And one of the cool things is that we get to look at a franchise like Kansas City Current and take note of the landscape that women's soccer has had in that market. And once upon a time, they did have an NWSL franchise till about 2017 in FC Kansas City, a franchise that won not one, but two NWSL championships with Vlatko Andonovski. So I said, if I could see it, and I would love to see it, I would love to see the 2015 FC Kansas City NWSL championship winning team go up against the 2024 NWSL Kansas City Current. I thought these are two teams with a collection of individual talents at their primes at some point. I'm thinking Lauren Cheney, Lauren Holiday of 2015 Kansas City being tasked with helping to sustain, hold back a 2024 Temwa Tuinga. I want to see it. I need to see it. Someone invent the time machine.
Wow, Sandra, that is a matchup for the ages. And now the thumbnail on YouTube makes a lot more sense to me. I didn't fully understand the 2KC logos. Who would win? 2015 FCKC or the current in 2024?
Thinking it's got to be a knockout round, high stakes type of game, cup, championship, something. But I'm going to actually give a little bit of the edge to 2015 FC Kansas City.
But what about 2024 Vlatko Andonovski? Don't you think he would be a better coach in 2024 than he was in 2015 and outcoach himself?
I agree that he's a better coach in 2024 than he was in 2015. But the talents that he has on these rosters are also a little bit different. And what I remember the most about that 2015 team is their ability to adapt and adjust on a dime in terms of tactics and formations. The way they went from blowing up a hungry Chicago Red Stars team in the semifinal in 2015 to then going up against the Shield-winning Reign and holding them and playing so stingy. Their ability to adapt and adjust on the fly, I think, is a little bit of a pet of the curve for Kansas City. They needed some time to switch tactics over the course of a second season. It didn't just happen overnight in 2024 for the Current. So I'm gonna lean with the OGs.
Ooh, the historic team wins. That's interesting. Okay, I
don't think
love
it'll be
that
pretty, but I think they'll win.
It's so hard though, because you got to think about like how much the game has evolved beyond those teams
Oh,
at this
yes.
point. So like it's changed, right? And so the
styles.
positional requirements of players individually and as a squad have shifted. So it's like we literally, I don't know, this is so nerdy, but I love doing this stuff.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
this stuff too, especially because of the tactics, right? Like same coach and similar I would say talent of personnel, right? You
Mhm.
have top level talent on both of those teams, but
Yeah.
it's how you deploy them. Okay, my matchup. I'm going with my dream matchup next. It is the 2019 US Women's National Team World Cup champions against the 2024 U.S. Women's National Team Olympic
Oh,
gold medalists. This is a
oh,
matchup that is, I would do anything to see it. So 2019 Women's World Cup winning team, you can't deny it. Head coach Jill Ellis, she had 23 players. The roster included A.D. Franch, Harris, Ashlyn Harris in the back, Alyssa Naeher. The defenders were Abby Dahlkemper, Tierna Davidson, Crystal Dunn, Allie Krieger, Kelly O'Hara, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Emily Sonnet. In the midfield, Morgan Gautreau, Morgan Bryan, Julie Ertz, Lindsay Horan, Rose Lavelle, Allie Long, and Sam Mewis. And up top, Tobin Heath, Carly Lloyd, Jess McDonald, Alex Morgan,
run him
Kristen
down.
Press, Mallory Pugh Swanson, and Megan Rapinoe. That was an absolutely stacked
Oh,
team.
God.
They were yacked. Meanwhile, 2024 US side under Emma Hayes, she deployed a whole new look, right? And she got it done in crunch time. But that's what I want. I want the pressure on that 2024 team when they go up against the 2019 team. Now, I thought of this matchup as like defense versus attack, defense versus attack. So if you look at the 2024 attack, so triple espresso, that's what we're rolling with up top with Mallory Swanson. She's going to be on both teams.
Oh, my God. There's a few
She's
on
playing
both.
both. Super sub.
Smith. Yeah, there's only a couple that play both.
Yeah.
And then the 2019 defense. So when you think about 2019 and how the U.S. played with their outside backs of Crystal Dunn and Kelly O'Hara, they got forward. They were constantly forward, which really left Julie Ertz as the six, and then the center backs with Abby Dahlkemper and Becky Sauerbrunn alone in the back line. Now, it worked for the U.S. because they constantly had the ball and their front line was so aggressive, but they were really vulnerable in transition. And Triple Espresso, man, they would eat that alive. Trinity Rodman would get into that outside back space. She would call for the ball. She would go 1v1 against the center backs. They would score. They would create goals and score chances and just be insane, thriving in that transition and the counter press against the 19 defense. Now, when you think about the 2019 attack versus the US's 2024 defense, both attacks have Rose Lavelle and Mallory Swanson, knee Pugh. But Rose Lavelle in 2019 to me was in her prime, right? She was finding the space in between the lines, driving at back lines, threading balls, pulling defenses absolutely apart and destroying them because no one knew how to stop her yet. And she was feeling so good alongside Sam Mewis. That was a midfield that was undeniably electric. Plus, you had Alex Morgan, who had evolved her game. She was no longer just going to get in behind, but she could hold up play. And you had Megan Rapinoe, who was arguably at the top of her game at that 2019 Women's World Cup. 2024 U.S. backline with Crystal Dunn, Tierna Davidson, Naomi Girma, and Emily Fox. I don't think they could handle it, guys. I don't think they could handle the 19 U.S. attack, especially on set pieces. That's how that 19 team would beat the 2024 team. Megan Rapinoe on set pieces with Alex Morgan in the box. The 2024 U.S. roster, they would not be able to stop it. They wouldn't.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that's a fair argument, but like Lisa, who would you rather party with, 2019 World Cup champs or 2024 gold medalists?
2024. I'd rather party with them.
Okay, but the matchup is who would win, right? Against 2019, 24. Now who would you rather party with? I think we'd rather be in 2024 for sure. But it's tough. I love that you made the case for each one. But I mean, that midfield alone in 2019 is absolutely wrecking 2024.
There's also an element of evolution of players' games because there are players that were on both rosters, but the one that has evolved and changed so much that I would rather have her in 2024 than 2019 is goalkeeper Alyssa Naeher. She was insane this past summer at the Olympics with the US. I would take 2024 Naeher over any other year Naeher ever. I mean, and 2024 would possibly win that matchup solely because of Alyssa Naeher.
Yeah, it's crazy because she was low-key clutch in both tournaments. It's like crazy to think about that.
But her DNA changed after the 2023 Women's World Cup.
Oh, yes.
Oh, guys, I want to see that matchup. Okay, Christine, best for last. Hit us with your dream matchup.
You set me up so good and you don't even realize because you know that I am the walking captain of chaos. So if you give me like a thought experiment, where I only have like a semblance of a root in reality, I'm going all the way. So I said Alyssa Naeher versus Hope Solo goalie wars. And so thank you
Wow.
for your little preamble, at least. You really
Wow.
helped me out. Obviously Hope Solo, Hall of Famer, Alyssa Naeher, looking at them both in their peak, which I feel like Alyssa hasn't left it quite yet. But I would say that Hope was, I guess, like the prototype. Pure athleticism, really great shot stopper. Um, but Alyssa Naeher, the more complete goalkeeper, um, great with her feet, those double saves that she's made. I'm giving the edge to Alyssa Naeher, and I would say that she's the best keeper that the U.S. program has ever had.
Yeah. Man.
Whoa.
Big, big stuff
Big.
by Cupo. I love this matchup. I love that you leaned into the player v player, whereas Lisa and I went like team to team. But this was the beauty of this segment. We were like, we can kind of go anywhere
There are
with
no
this.
rules.
But this is
My
tough. If
my
you're
email
talking
to
about
Mark was like, can I do this, or is this too chaotic? Do I have to
no,
like
it's
pick
Nope.
perfect.
something?
If that's
I'm
the
like,
sub question, if this is too chaotic, that means it's gonna
That
be
you
a
do
good
have to
segment.
do it.
Yeah, we gotta do it. No, I love this one, especially when you're just like thinking about you're saying they're gonna be in their primes. But I do wonder if the scenario that you presented for goalie wars
mm-hmm,
might be the difference maker here. And I think if
mm-hmm.
we're talking about these two keepers in their prime going at it in goalie wars, I think
Yep.
the match might be given in there. I'm with you on that.
Oh, for sure.
If
Remember,
it's if
Nair's
it's
way more
like
likely to score goals with her feet too.
yes, 100%. She'll be like, and it's over. I just did this. I dunked on it. But if it's like keeper versus keeper over a course of 90 minutes, I think you give that advantage to Solo.
Ooh, why?
There's just something about Hope Solo, and if we're looking at widening the lens and talking about the trajectories of careers, I think Alyssa Naeher, we could see the kind of the build up to who she became on the national team. And for Hope Solo and her arrival, she got there. And yes, like younger players, when they get into the mix, develop over time. But this is a player that got into that conversation at a young age and demanded that spotlight because of her level of play, despite maybe the quote unquote inexperiences at the time.
I would
And
argue the difference. I would argue the opposite. In goalie wars, I
floppy.
would give the edge to Hope Solo. She was a forward, a
Oh, yes.
striker until
Mhm.
college.
Yes, exactly.
She can strike, and that's what goalie wars is, right? Striking from distance
Yep.
and then being athletic and getting back into position. It would
Yes,
be
but Nair double
so fun.
saves. She's agile as hell. I
But
feel
I would
like
say that in a game, in a 90-minute performance, Alyssa
Oh,
Naeher
man.
gets the edge. She's a better goalie in terms of
yeah,
like what a goalkeeper is, building out of the back with their feet, shot stopping ability, double saves,
Yeah.
positioning. Whereas Solo was a little bit out of position at times, but just athletic, so she could get there.
I feel like Nair though also has that very placid nature where she doesn't get as ruffled. So I feel like if you're just going lobbing balls at each other, and she's more likely to stay locked in. I
Yeah,
do.
but you want the crazy of Solo in a goalie wars.
You gotta
Let
have
Do
us know,
you?
guys.
you
Do
Who
started
would
with the
you?
win in
chaos, gotta end with the
actual
chaos.
Who would win in actual goalie wars? The game where like you're playing just within the length
These
of an 18. Hope
these were
Solo
good.
or
I
Alyssa
I
literally,
Naeher?
can't wait to hear the
I think
results.
Let us
Nair
know.
has the edge. I really, really do. I think
Well,
that
Christina,
she's
I'm gonna
way
leave it
more
up to the
reactive.
people. I'm gonna
Yeah,
leave
Fine,
it up
that's
people,
to the
they're the
vote,
people.
but also
tiebreaker.
know that I'm giving you aggressive side eye if you don't side with me.
Well, we did poll everyone for all three of our dream scenarios. For FC Kansas City in 2015 versus KC Current, it was 50-50, Sandra.
That's
The
right.
people
It's two
were
hearts.
split.
Yes.
Meanwhile, for 2019 Women's World Cup versus 2024 gold medalist, 86% say the 2019 team would win to 14% the triple espresso side. And then for Naeher Solo, it was Alyssa Naeher, 85%, Solo 15%.
Two landslides and a tie. I love that mine was split right down the middle. I love it.
I do too. This was a good
Thank
game.
you,
Let us know
chat. You're the
your
best.
dream matchup, historical versus present. Let us know in